Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to Congregation Beth Ahaba's weekly Torah videos. This week's Torah portion is actually a double portion, meaning the portion called Vayak'heil and the portion called Pekudei are combined together into a double portion. And we see this happen depending on how the Jewish calendar is laid out, because sometimes we have an extra month, a leap month in the Jewish calendar, in which case we need to fill out those weekends, those Sabbaths, with Torah portions. And so sometimes the double portions will become separate when we need to have more portions in a year, and sometimes they'll be combined together. So this week's portion is Vayak'heil Pekudei, which closes out the book of Exodus, the second book of the Torah. Most of the content of this portion is discussing and listing out at length all the gifts and supplies that people brought in order to create the Mishkan, the tabernacle, the portable temple that they built in the wilderness. However, there's one little paragraph that sort of stands out as being different. One of these things is not like the others, and that is at the very beginning of Vayak'heil, so the very beginning of our double portion. And that is a paragraph about Shabbat. Moses reminds the people that for 6 days you should work, but on the seventh day you should refrain from all work, don't light any fires, and it even says that people who work on the Sabbath will be put to death. So what can we learn from this? Well, Shabbat is a very important thing. Having a day of rest, taking a break, is a very important thing. And this reminds us of just how important Shabbat can be, because we refrain from kindling fire or creative endeavors on Shabbat in order to recharge our energy and recharge our creative energies, our physical energies, so that we can go on to continue the work in the future. So what we learn from the inclusion of this paragraph in this particular spot is that no matter how important the work may be, no matter how holy, we still have to take a break. And we have to build our breaks into our endeavors. Because if we set a goal for ourselves that doesn't include breaks, rests, and giving ourselves time to recharge, it's not a realistic goal, and we have to rethink it. Even the tabernacle, arguably the most important thing that they were building or creating at that time in this Torah story, required Shabbat and breaks. So perhaps we can also read the part where it says put to death as, if you don't take a break, then your life expectancy goes down. And I think that we know that can be very true. So now that we're coming to the end of Exodus, let's take a moment and think about Shabbat and think about the gift of Shabbat and the gift of being able to take breaks and structuring our lives in order to ensure that we give ourselves adequate time for rest. Shabbat Shalom.